Someone is crazy about you, but this relationship is forbidden. 2 things you must know why. Don't scroll, listen to this. This message is for you, and your heart needs this right now, because if these words pulled you in, even for a second, that wasn't curiosity, it was recognition. And listen closely, because someone is holding you in their thoughts far more intensely than you realize, replaying conversations, imagining moments that haven't happened, feeling a pull they don't know how to explain. And don't scroll, listen to this. Because this connection feels powerful for a reason. But it also feels blocked for a reason, and your heart needs this right now, because not every strong feeling is meant to turn into a relationship. Some feelings exist to wake you up. And listen carefully, because the universe is speaking softly but firmly here. And don't scroll, listen to this, because you may have felt this connection in waves. Strong emotion followed by sudden distance, closeness followed by confusion, hope followed by hesitation. And your heart needs this right now, because that push and pull is not random, it's a signal. And listen closely, because the first truth you must know is that this relationship is forbidden, not because you are unworthy, but because you are outgrowing something. And don't scroll, listen to this, because you have been changing at a soul level, healing patterns, raising standards, awakening to your value. And your heart needs this right now, because this person is drawn to the version of you that carries light, clarity, and depth, but they may still be operating from fear, secrecy, or unresolved wounds. And listen carefully, because attraction does not equal alignment. And don't scroll, listen to this, because alignment feels calm, mutual, and open, while misalignment feels intense, hidden, and unstable. And your heart needs this right now, because intensity can feel like destiny when you're emotionally open. But destiny does not destabilize you, it grounds you. And listen closely, because the universe has been sending you signs, not to tease you, but to protect you. And don't scroll, listen to this, because angel numbers like 11 may 11th have appeared when you thought about them, showing you the connection is real at a soul level. But 222 may have followed, reminding you to pause, to wait, to choose balance over impulse. And your heart needs this right now, because balance is how the universe prevents karmic entanglements from becoming lifelong wounds. And listen carefully, because 555 may have shown up when emotions felt overwhelming, signaling that change is coming, not necessarily union, but transformation. And don't scroll, listen to this, because transformation sometimes means release. And your heart needs this right now, because release is not loss, it's redirection. And listen closely, because the second truth you must know is that this relationship is forbidden, because it's testing your self-worth. And don't scroll, listen to this, because the universe is watching how you respond to desire that cannot fully meet you. And your heart needs this right now, because this is a moment of choice, not about them, but about you. And listen carefully, because this person may want you deeply, but want is not the same as readiness. And don't scroll, listen to this, because love that arrives before readiness becomes a lesson, not a lifetime. And your heart needs this right now, because you have already lived through lessons that cost you peace, energy, and time. And listen closely, because you are no longer meant to prove your worth through patience, silence, or sacrifice. And don't scroll, listen to this, because if this connection requires hiding, waiting in confusion, or shrinking your needs, it is not aligned with your awakening. And your heart needs this right now, because awakening brings clarity, not compromise. And listen carefully, because 444 may have appeared during moments you felt protected from acting on impulse, reminding you that unseen forces are guarding your future. And don't scroll, listen to this, Because protection can feel like frustration when you want answers, but your heart needs this right now because protection saves you from repeating cycles. And listen closely, because 777 may have appeared when you questioned whether this was meant to be, signaling that something here is spiritually sealed. Not for punishment, but for preservation. And don't scroll, listen to this, because preservation means your heart is being kept safe for something that will meet you fully, openly, and without fear. And your heart needs this right now because you are not meant to be someone's secret, temptation, or unfinished business. You are meant to be chosen clearly, and listen carefully, because soulmate energy does not ask you to betray yourself. It recognizes you and meets you in the light. And don't scroll, listen to this, because if this connection feels forbidden, it's because it exists to show you what you will no longer accept. And your heart needs this right now because sometimes the universe sends intense attraction to test whether you will choose chemistry over character, longing over alignment, or old patterns over new truth. And listen closely, because passing this test doesn't mean rejecting love, it means choosing better love. And don't scroll, listen to this, because better love feels safe, reciprocal, and steady, not anxious, secretive, or half-available. And your heart needs this right now because what's meant for you will not confuse you or make you question your value. And listen carefully, because the cliffhanger here is this. Once you choose yourself fully, once you honor the signs and release what cannot grow with you, the universe responds quickly. And don't scroll, listen to this, because something aligned is already moving toward you. Something that won't feel forbidden, but blessed. And your heart needs this right now to trust that letting go of what wants you but cannot choose you fully is how you make space for the love that will. And this is not the end of the story. It's the turning point where destiny shifts in your favor. Don't scroll, listen to this. This message is for you. And if you came back for this part, your heart needs this right now because this is where the universe starts explaining why the connection feels so strong yet so restricted. And listen closely, because when something feels forbidden, it's not always because it's wrong. Sometimes it's because it's unfinished, unready, or misaligned with divine timing. And don't scroll, listen to this, because timing is the quiet architect of destiny. And your heart needs this right now because you've been feeling the tension between desire and discernment, between wanting and knowing better. And listen carefully, because that tension is not meant to tear you apart, it's meant to wake you up. And don't scroll, listen to this, because awakening often begins when attraction collides with truth. And your heart needs this right now because you are in the middle of a spiritual upgrade whether you asked for it or not. And listen closely, because the universe has been speaking to you in numbers, patterns, and pauses, not to confuse you, but to guide you safely through this moment. And don't scroll, listen to this, because if you've been seeing 11 when you think about them, that's not permission to chase, that's recognition of a soul-level connection, a mirror showing you something about yourself. And your heart needs this right now because soul recognition does not always equal soulmate destiny, sometimes it equals a catalyst. And listen carefully, because 11 opens awareness, it doesn't guarantee union. And don't scroll, listen to this, because awareness is powerful but incomplete without discernment. And your heart needs this right now because discernment is what saves you from confusing intensity with alignment. And listen closely, because 222 may have been showing up when you felt uncertain, when your mind raced, when your heart wanted clarity. And 222 is the universe whispering, pause, reminding you that balance matters more than impulse. And don't scroll, listen to this, because balance is how the universe keeps you from stepping into karmic loops that feel familiar but drain you. and your heart needs this right now because you've already completed those loops, and listen carefully, because 333 may have appeared during moments of emotional overwhelm, when you felt pulled in two directions, and 333 is divine guidance surrounding you, not pushing you toward them, but supporting you while you choose yourself, and don't scroll. Listen to this, because choosing yourself is not rejection, it's alignment, and your heart needs this right now because alignment always feels quieter than desire, and listen closely, because 444 may have appeared when you were protected from acting on impulse, when plans fell through, when communication stalled unexpectedly, and 444 is protection, not punishment, and don't scroll, listen to this. Because protection can feel frustrating when your emotions are involved, but your heart needs this right now because protection preserves your future, and listen carefully, because 555 may have shown up during emotional spikes, moments where you felt like everything could change in an instant, and 555 is transformation, signaling that this connection is meant to change you, not necessarily stay with you. And don't scroll, listen to this, because change is sometimes the gift, and your heart needs this right now because transformation frees you from old patterns you once thought were love, and listen closely, because 666 may have appeared when fear crept in, when you doubted yourself, when you questioned whether you were misreading everything, and 666 is recalibration, bringing your thoughts back into alignment, reminding you not to let fear rewrite truth, and don't scroll, listen to this, because fear always gets louder when control slips away, and your heart needs this right now because control is not faith, and listen carefully, because 777 may have appeared when you asked the universe if this was meant to be, and 777 is divine sealing, often meaning something is spiritually complete or closed for now, not as punishment, but as protection, and don't scroll, listen to this, because closures can be temporary or permanent, but they are always purposeful. And your heart needs this right now because 777 reminds you that God closes doors gently when walking through them would cost you peace, and listen closely, because 888 may have appeared when you imagined being chosen fully, openly, without secrecy or hesitation, and 888 is balance and reciprocity, the universe showing you what aligned love actually looks like, not what you're currently experiencing, and don't scroll, listen to this, because comparison is not meant to shame you, it's meant to clarify your standards, and your heart needs this right now because standards protect your heart, and listen carefully, because 999 may have appeared when you felt emotionally exhausted, ready to move on, ready to release the weight of confusion, and 999 is completion, the ending of a chapter that has taught you everything it needed to teach, and don't scroll, listen to this, because endings are not failures, they are fulfillments, and your heart needs this right now because this connection has already served its purpose, even if it never becomes a relationship, and listen closely, because the purpose was to show you how deeply you can be desired, while also showing you that desire without alignment is not enough, and don't scroll, listen to this, because that realization is powerful, and your heart needs this right now because it shifts you from craving validation to expecting consistency, and listen carefully, because the universe is watching how you respond now, not to test you, but to align you, and don't scroll, listen to this, because alignment happens when you choose peace over intensity, clarity over confusion, self-respect over longing, and your heart needs this right now because choosing peace is choosing your future, and listen closely, because forbidden connections often exist to test whether you will abandon your growth for familiarity, and don't scroll, listen to this, because familiarity can feel comforting even when it's harmful, and your heart needs this right now because you've outgrown harm disguised as love, and listen carefully, because the universe does not block what is meant for you. It blocks what would break you, and don't scroll, listen to this. Because this relationship feels forbidden because it cannot meet you where you are now, and your heart needs this right now because you are no longer available for half-love, hidden love, or love that lives in potential instead of action, and listen closely, because soulmate-level love does not ask you to wait in confusion, it arrives with clarity, openness, and mutual readiness, and don't scroll, listen to this. Because readiness is the difference between longing and destiny, and your heart needs this right now because destiny does not require secrecy, sacrifice of self, or emotional endurance tests, and listen carefully, because this part ends here intentionally, not to leave you unsettled, but to anchor this truth deeply inside you. What feels forbidden now is not being taken away from you, it is being replaced by something aligned, and don't scroll, listen to this, because once you honor the signs, release the attachment, and choose yourself fully, the universe responds swiftly, and your heart needs this right now to trust that what's coming will not feel forbidden, it will feel safe, chosen, and divinely supported, and this moment, right here, is the turning point where confusion gives way to clarity, and destiny quietly shifts in your favor. Don't scroll, listen to this message is for you, and if you are still here your heart needs this right now because this is the point where the universe stops hinting and starts confirming, and listen closely because when a connection feels forbidden yet impossible to ignore, it's not meant to trap you, it's meant to awaken you fully to your worth, your power, and your next level, and don't scroll, listen to this. Because what's happening right now is not punishment, it's redirection with purpose, and your heart needs this right now because deep inside you already feel that something about this connection has shifted, not disappeared, but transformed, and listen carefully, because transformation is uncomfortable only when you resist it, and don't scroll, listen to this. Because resistance is often what keeps people stuck in karmic loops long past their expiration date. And your heart needs this right now because you are being released from a cycle, not denied love, and listen closely, because the universe has been sending you divine numbers not to excite you, but to stabilize you during this emotional turning point, and don't scroll, listen to this, because when 1111 appears now, it is no longer about attraction or fantasy, it is about awakening, the moment you see clearly what this connection really is and what it is not. And your heart needs this right now because clarity ends self-betrayal, and listen carefully, because 11 is the wake-up call that says, you see it now, don't look away, and don't scroll, listen to this. Because seeing clearly is the most powerful shift a soul can make, and your heart needs this right now because once you see clearly, you cannot unsee your worth, and listen closely, because 222 may be appearing when you feel torn between staying emotionally attached and choosing peace, and 222 is divine balance, reminding you that harmony will never come from chaos disguised as passion, and don't scroll, listen to this, because balance is not boring, it is healing, and your heart needs this right now because healing love does not require you to suffer to feel chosen, and listen carefully, because 333 may be appearing when emotions feel heavy, when you feel watched, guided, or gently nudged to slow down, and 333 is divine support surrounding you, not pushing you toward this person, but holding you steady while you choose what honors your soul, and don't scroll, listen to this. Because divine support often shows up when you are tempted to abandon yourself for familiarity, and your heart needs this right now because familiarity is not destiny, alignment is, and listen closely, because 444 may be appearing when communication stalls, plans fall through, or the universe physically blocks progression, and 444 is protection in action, not rejection, and don't scroll. Listen to this, because protection often feels frustrating when emotions are involved, but your heart needs this right now because protection saves you from repeating pain you've already outgrown, and listen carefully, because 555 may be appearing during emotional surges, moments when you think, what if everything changed right now, and 555 is transformation, signaling that this connection exists to change you, not to stay with you forever, and don't scroll, listen to this. Because not every intense connection is meant to be permanent, some are meant to prepare you, and your heart needs this right now because preparation is sacred work, and listen closely, because 666 may appear when fear tries to creep in, telling you you'll lose love if you let go, that you'll miss out, that this is your only chance, and 666 is recalibration, reminding you that fear is not intuition, and don't scroll, listen to this, because intuition feels calm even when it delivers hard truth. And your heart needs this right now because fear wants you to settle, intuition wants you to rise, and listen carefully. Because 777 may appear when you ask God or the universe if this connection is meant to be, and 777 is divine completion or sealing, often meaning something has served its spiritual purpose and does not need to continue in the same form, and don't scroll, listen to this, because completion is not loss, it is fulfillment. And your heart needs this right now because fulfilled lessons don't need to be repeated, and listen closely, because 888 may appear when you imagine a love where effort is mutual, energy is balanced, and you don't have to guess where you stand, and 888 is divine reciprocity, showing you what aligned love actually looks like so you stop mistaking intensity for destiny, and don't scroll, listen to this, because once you see what balanced love feels like, you cannot settle for confusion, and your heart needs this right now because clarity raises standards naturally, and listen carefully. Because 999 may appear when you feel emotionally exhausted, ready to let go. Ready to choose peace even if it hurts, and 999 is the end of a karmic chapter, the final confirmation that this situation has given you everything it was meant to give, and don't scroll, listen to this, because endings are not punishments, they are promotions. And your heart needs this right now because you are being promoted into a higher level of love, not removed from love entirely, and listen closely, because forbidden connections often appear when the soul is leveling up, testing whether you will choose growth or familiarity, truth or illusion, self-respect or longing, and don't scroll, listen to this. Because the universe is not asking you to suppress your feelings, it's asking you to interpret them correctly, and your heart needs this right now because feelings can be real even when the path is wrong, and listen carefully, because someone being crazy about you does not mean they are capable of loving you in the way you deserve. And don't scroll, listen to this, because desire without alignment becomes a burden, not a blessing. And your heart needs this right now because you are not meant to carry emotional weight that isn't yours to fix, and listen closely, because this forbidden energy exists to sharpen your discernment, to teach you the difference between being wanted and being chosen, and don't scroll, listen to this, because being chosen looks like clarity, consistency, and courage, not secrecy, hesitation, or fear. And your heart needs this right now because soulmate level love does not hide, it stands openly, and listen carefully, because the universe is guiding you away from emotional confusion toward emotional sovereignty, and don't scroll, listen to this, because sovereignty means you no longer abandon yourself for the possibility of love, and your heart needs this right now because self-abandonment was never the price of destiny, and listen closely, because when you release what feels forbidden, something aligned begins to move toward you. Immediately, not because you chased it, but because you made space for it, and don't scroll, listen to this, because space is sacred, and your heart needs this right now because aligned love requires room to arrive, and listen carefully, because what's coming will not feel forbidden, it will feel safe, steady, and openly chosen, and don't scroll, listen to this, because safety is the signature of divine love, not anxiety, not secrecy, not longing mixed with fear, and your heart needs this right now because you are stepping out of karmic testing and into soul alignment, and listen closely, because this is the moment where intensity releases its grip and clarity takes its place, and don't scroll, listen to this, because clarity is freedom, and your heart needs this right now because freedom is what allows destiny to meet you fully, and listen carefully, because this part ends here not to leave you uncertain, but to anchor this truth deeply inside you. What feels forbidden now is not being taken from you, it is being replaced by something that can meet you without hiding, without hesitation, without fear, and when that arrives, you will understand why this chapter had to end exactly this way, and you will feel gratitude instead of regret, peace instead of longing, and certainty instead of confusion, and don't scroll, listen to this. Because destiny does not require you to suffer to prove your worth, it meets you when you finally choose yourself completely. Don't scroll, listen to this message is for you, and if you've reached this part your heart needs this right now because this is where the universe shifts from explanation into empowerment, and listen closely because when a connection feels forbidden, the final lesson is never about them. It's about who you become when you finally understand why it couldn't move forward, and don't scroll, listen to this, because the universe has been walking you through this gently, step by step, sign by sign, and your heart needs this right now because you are standing at the edge of a major internal decision, and listen carefully, because divine numbers have been surrounding you not to keep you attached, but to guide you out of confusion and into clarity. And don't scroll, listen to this. Because when 11 appears at this stage, it is no longer about attraction or fantasy, it is about alignment awareness, the moment you fully realize that chemistry without clarity is not destiny, and your heart needs this right now because awareness is the doorway to freedom, and listen closely. Because 222 may have been showing up when you feel torn between holding on and letting go, and 222 is divine balance stepping in, reminding you that peace is not found in extremes, not in obsession or suppression, but in choosing yourself calmly and completely. And don't scroll, listen to this, because balance is how the universe gently loosens emotional cords that no longer serve you. And your heart needs this right now because cords formed through intensity can feel powerful even when they are no longer aligned, and listen carefully, because 333 may appear when you feel emotionally supported but not pushed, like something unseen is standing beside you saying, you're not alone in this decision, and 333 is divine companionship, reassurance that God and the universe are not abandoning you in this release, they are walking you through it, and don't scroll, listen to this, because walking through something is very different from being forced out of it, and your heart needs this right now because forced endings create wounds, while guided endings create wisdom, and listen closely, because 444 may have appeared when something physically blocked the connection. Missed opportunities, silence, distance, or circumstances that made progression impossible. And 444 is divine protection, not rejection, and don't scroll, listen to this, because protection often feels like frustration when emotions are involved, but your heart needs this right now because frustration fades, protection lasts, and listen carefully, because 555 may appear when you feel emotional surges, moments where you imagine drastic change, closure, or finally moving on. And 555 is transformation, signaling that this experience is actively reshaping your standards, your expectations, and your emotional boundaries. And don't scroll, listen to this, because transformation is not about becoming colder, it's about becoming clearer, and your heart needs this right now because clarity is kindness to your future self. And listen closely, because 666 may have appeared when fear whispered that letting go means losing love altogether, that choosing peace means choosing loneliness. And 666 is recalibration, pulling your thoughts back into truth, reminding you that fear is not prophecy, it is a reaction to change. And don't scroll, listen to this, because fear gets loud right before growth locks in, and your heart needs this right now because growth requires releasing illusions, not love. And listen carefully, because 777 may have shown up when you asked if this situation was ever meant to work, and 777 is divine completion, meaning the soul contract has fulfilled its purpose, the lesson has been learned, and continuation is no longer required for growth. And don't scroll, listen to this, because completion does not mean something failed, it means it succeeded at what it was meant to do, and your heart needs this right now because this connection succeeded in awakening you, not in staying. And listen closely, because 888 may have appeared when you imagined a relationship where effort is mutual, communication is open, and you don't feel like you're walking on emotional eggshells. And 888 is divine reciprocity, showing you the standard of love you are now aligned with, not the situation you are leaving behind. And don't scroll, listen to this, because standards rise quietly after awakening, and your heart needs this right now because raised standards naturally dissolve forbidden connections. And listen carefully, because 999 may have appeared when you felt ready to close this chapter emotionally, even if part of you still cared, and 999 is closure with grace, the final signal that you do not need to carry this energy forward to become who you are meant to be. And don't scroll, listen to this, because grace-filled endings are a sign of spiritual maturity, and your heart needs this right now because maturity allows you to release without bitterness. And listen closely, because the universe is not asking you to deny that someone is crazy about you, it is asking you to understand that obsession without readiness is not love. And don't scroll, listen to this, because love does not require secrecy, confusion, or emotional endurance tests. And your heart needs this right now because you were never meant to be someone's temptation, secret, or emotional escape. You were meant to be someone's clear, conscious choice. And listen carefully, because forbidden relationships often appear when the soul is upgrading, testing whether you will choose old patterns dressed up as intensity or new paths dressed up as peace. And don't scroll, listen to this, because peace can feel unfamiliar when chaos was once your normal, and your heart needs this right now because unfamiliar does not mean unsafe, it means healed. And listen closely, because healed love does not feel forbidden, it feels open, supported, and aligned with your values. And don't scroll, listen to this, because the universe is teaching you to trust how your body responds, not just how your heart longs. And your heart needs this right now because your body knows when something is draining even if your emotions are attached. And listen carefully, because emotional attachment can exist without emotional safety. And don't scroll, listen to this, because safety is the true marker of divine love, not intensity, not longing, not obsession, and your heart needs this right now because you are stepping into a season where safety matters more than excitement, and listen closely, because excitement fades when life gets real, but safety holds through storms, and don't scroll, listen to this. Because storms come for everyone, and your heart needs this right now. Because the universe is preparing you for a love that can stand in the storm with you, not create one, and listen carefully, because choosing to walk away from what feels forbidden is not weakness, it is strength, and don't scroll, listen to this, because strength feels quiet, decisive, and grounded, not dramatic, and your heart needs this right now because quiet strength is what attracts aligned love, and listen closely, because the moment you truly release the emotional grip of this situation, the universe responds almost immediately, not always with a person, but with peace, clarity, and forward movement, and don't scroll, listen to this, because movement is already beginning in subtle ways, through new perspectives, new opportunities, and new emotional space, and your heart needs this right now because space is sacred, and listen carefully, because space allows destiny to enter without obstruction. And don't scroll, listen to this, because destiny does not compete with confusion, it arrives when confusion is gone, and your heart needs this right now because you are nearly there, and listen closely, because this part ends here not to leave you unresolved, but to anchor this final truth deep inside you. What felt forbidden was not meant to trap you, it was meant to free you from old cycles, sharpen your discernment, and prepare you for a love that will not hide, hesitate, or hurt you. And don't scroll, listen to this, because the universe is not closing your heart, it is protecting it, and your heart needs this right now to trust that the next connection will not feel forbidden at all, it will feel clear, mutual, and divinely supported, and when that arrives, you will look back at this chapter not with longing, but with gratitude, knowing it awakened you just in time. Don't scroll, listen to this message is for you, and if you're still here your heart needs this right now because this is the moment where the universe stops whispering and starts reminding you who you are becoming, and listen closely because forbidden connections don't show up to punish you, they show up to initiate you into a higher level of discernment, self-respect, and spiritual authority, and don't scroll, listen to this, because someone being crazy about you does not automatically mean they are meant to walk with you into your future, and your heart needs this right now because intensity without alignment is one of the universe's most convincing illusions, and listen carefully, because you have reached the stage where illusion no longer satisfies you, even if it once did, and don't scroll, listen to this, because the universe has been marking this shift with divine numbers that now appear not as excitement, but as confirmation, and your heart needs this right now because confirmation settles the soul, and listen closely, because when 11 appears at this stage, it is no longer about wishful thinking, it is about spiritual clarity locking in, the moment you recognize that the connection awakened you but cannot accompany you forward, and don't scroll, listen to this, because awakening does not always bring what you want, it brings what you need, and your heart needs this right now because you are no longer mistaking longing for truth, and listen carefully, because 222 may have been showing up when you feel tempted to re-engage, revisit, or reopen emotional doors that your soul already closed, and 222 is divine balance stepping in, reminding you that peace is not found in emotional backtracking, but in moving forward with integrity, and don't scroll, listen to this, because balance keeps you from confusing nostalgia with destiny, and your heart needs this right now because nostalgia often dresses up lessons as lost opportunities, And listen closely, because 333 may have appeared when you felt emotional support arrive. Without explanation, a calm presence during moments when you could have spiraled, and 333 is divine companionship, reassurance that you are not alone as you step away from what once felt powerful. And don't scroll, listen to this, because walking away does not mean you failed, it means you listened, and your heart needs this right now because listening to your intuition is an act of courage, not weakness. And listen carefully, because 444 may have appeared during moments of interruption. Silence, or sudden barriers that stop the connection from progressing, and 444 is protection activated, not punishment. And don't scroll, listen to this, because protection often feels inconvenient when emotions are involved, but your heart needs this right now because inconvenience now prevents devastation later. And listen closely, because 555 may have been flashing during emotional spikes, moments where you imagined everything changing overnight, and 555 is transformation in motion. Signaling that this experience exists to reshape your standards, not define your future. And don't scroll, listen to this, because transformation does not ask for permission, it happens when the soul is ready to outgrow old patterns, and your heart needs this right now because you are no longer meant to repeat cycles that once felt familiar. And listen carefully, because 666 may have appeared when fear tried to convince you that letting go means losing love forever, that choosing peace means choosing emptiness, and 666 is recalibration, reminding you that fear is a reaction, not a revelation. And don't scroll, listen to this, because fear always speaks when control is slipping, and your heart needs this right now because control was never meant to guide your love life, alignment was. And listen closely, because 777 may have appeared when you asked the universe or God if this connection was ever meant to work, and 777 is divine completion, signaling that the soul contract has fulfilled its purpose, and continuation would only repeat lessons you've already mastered. And don't scroll, listen to this, because mastery means you no longer need pain to learn, and your heart needs this right now because you have graduated from love that hurts. And listen carefully, because 888 may have appeared when you imagined a relationship where effort is mutual, communication is clear, and love is not hidden or restricted. And 888 is divine reciprocity, showing you what you are now aligned with energetically, not what you are leaving behind. And don't scroll, listen to this, because alignment upgrades your desires naturally, and your heart needs this right now because you are no longer craving intensity, you are craving consistency. And listen closely, because 999 may have appeared when you felt emotionally ready to close this chapter, even if part of you still felt attached. And 999 is graceful closure, the universe confirming that you do not need to carry this story forward to become who you are meant to be. And don't scroll, listen to this, because closure does not erase the meaning, it honors it, and your heart needs this right now because honoring a lesson allows you to release it without resentment. And listen carefully, because forbidden relationships often exist to test whether you will abandon your growth for chemistry, or choose alignment even when it costs you something emotionally. And don't scroll, listen to this, because choosing alignment is choosing your future self, and your heart needs this right now because your future self is calmer, clearer, and no longer negotiating for love. And listen closely, because someone being crazy about you does not obligate you to stay, especially if staying requires you to shrink, hide, or doubt yourself. And don't scroll, listen to this, because love that is meant for you will not feel forbidden, it will feel supported, open, and free to grow. And your heart needs this right now because freedom is not the absence of commitment, it is the presence of choice without fear, and listen carefully, because fear-driven love demands secrecy, urgency, and sacrifice of self, while aligned love invites patience, clarity, and mutual readiness. And don't scroll, listen to this, because you are stepping into a season where mutual readiness matters more than mutual attraction. And your heart needs this right now because attraction fades when life gets real, but readiness holds when life gets hard. And listen closely, because the universe is not asking you to stop feeling, it is asking you to interpret your feelings correctly. And don't scroll, listen to this, because feelings can be real even when the path is wrong, and your heart needs this right now because wisdom is knowing the difference. And listen carefully, because wisdom does not shout, it settles quietly into your decisions. And don't scroll, listen to this, because settling into wisdom feels like relief, not loss, and your heart needs this right now because relief is the signal that you are moving in the right direction. And listen closely, because once you fully release the emotional grip of what feels forbidden, the universe responds almost immediately, not always with a person, but with peace, momentum, and new alignment. And don't scroll, listen to this, because momentum is already building beneath the surface. And your heart needs this right now because space has been created for something that does not need to hide, hesitate, or test your worth. And listen carefully, because the next connection will not feel forbidden, it will feel clear. And don't scroll, listen to this, because clarity is the reward for choosing yourself. And your heart needs this right now because you have passed the test, not by resisting love, but by choosing truth over illusion. And listen closely, because this part ends here not with uncertainty, but with empowerment. The empowerment that comes from knowing that nothing meant for you requires confusion, secrecy, or emotional endurance. And don't scroll, listen to this, because destiny does not trap you, it frees you. And your heart needs this right now to trust that what is coming will meet you openly, fully, and without restriction. And when it does, you will understand why this connection had to remain forbidden, not to punish you, but to prepare you. Don't scroll, listen to this message is for you. And if you're still here, your heart needs this right now because this is the moment where the universe stops teaching through contrast and starts anchoring you in truth. And listen closely, because forbidden connections don't end when feelings fade, they end when clarity arrives. And clarity has been arriving in waves for you, even if part of you resisted it at first. And don't scroll, listen to this, because resistance is normal when the heart is attached but the soul has already moved on. And your heart needs this right now because you are learning to let the soul lead, not the longing. And listen carefully, because the divine numbers surrounding you now are not trying to pull you back into the connection, they are guiding you through the release and into empowerment. And don't scroll, listen to this, because when 11 appears now, it's no longer about attraction or possibility, it's about alignment recognition, that quiet moment where you realize, this awakened me, but it cannot accompany me. And your heart needs this right now because recognizing the difference between awakening and arrival is spiritual maturity. And listen closely, because 222 may be appearing when you feel the urge to check, reach out, or revisit what you already know cannot move forward. And 222 is divine balance reminding you that peace does not live in backward steps, it lives in steady forward motion. And don't scroll, listen to this, because balance keeps you from reopening emotional doors that God has already gently closed for your protection. And your heart needs this right now because protection is often mistaken for delay when emotions are involved. And listen carefully, because 333 may be showing up when you feel supported emotionally without anyone physically stepping in. like an unseen presence is calming you. When old habits try to resurface, and 333 is divine companionship, assurance that you are not walking away alone, and don't scroll, listen to this, because walking away guided is very different from walking away wounded, and your heart needs this right now because guidance brings peace, not bitterness, and listen closely, because 444 may have appeared repeatedly during moments where the connection was physically blocked. Missed chances, silence, distance, timing that never aligned. And 444 is divine protection activated, not rejection, and don't scroll, listen to this, because protection doesn't feel like relief at first, it feels like frustration, and your heart needs this right now because frustration fades, but protection lasts, and listen carefully, because 555 may be appearing now not as chaos, but as readiness, signaling that you are finally prepared to let the old pattern dissolve without drama, and don't scroll, listen to this, because transformation does not always come with upheaval, sometimes it comes with calm resolve, and your heart needs this right now because calm resolve means the lesson has landed, and listen closely, because 666 may be showing up when fear whispers that you're letting go of something rare, something intense, something you might never feel again, and 666 is recalibration, reminding you that fear exaggerates loss and minimizes growth. And don't scroll, listen to this, because fear wants you to cling, while truth invites you to rise. And your heart needs this right now because rising feels unfamiliar but right, and listen carefully, because 777 may be appearing as a quiet confirmation that this chapter is spiritually complete, sealed, and no longer requires your emotional energy to continue teaching you. And don't scroll, listen to this, because completion does not erase the meaning, it honors it. And your heart needs this right now because honoring the lesson allows you to move forward without resentment, and listen closely, because 888 may be appearing when you imagine a relationship where you are chosen openly, where effort is mutual, where love does not feel restricted or hidden, and 888 is divine reciprocity, showing you the energetic standard you are now aligned with. And don't scroll, listen to this, because standards are not demands, they are reflections of self-worth. And your heart needs this right now because your self-worth has evolved, and listen carefully, because 999 may be appearing now as a gentle but firm signal that this emotional chapter has reached its natural conclusion, and 999 is not loss, it is graduation. And don't scroll, listen to this, because graduation means you no longer need to revisit this lesson to understand it, and your heart needs this right now because repeating lessons is exhausting, and listen closely, because you are tired in a different way now, not drained, but done. And don't scroll, listen to this, because being done does not mean you failed. It means you integrated the truth fully. And your heart needs this right now because integration is what turns pain into wisdom, and listen carefully, because forbidden connections often exist to show you the difference between being wanted and being worthy of more. And don't scroll, listen to this, because someone being obsessed with you does not mean they can offer you safety, consistency, or clarity. And your heart needs this right now because you are no longer available for love that thrives on longing but collapses under responsibility. And listen closely, because responsibility is what real partnership requires. And don't scroll, listen to this, because partnership does not hide, hesitate, or hover in uncertainty. And your heart needs this right now because uncertainty was never meant to be your home. And listen carefully, because you may have noticed your emotional reactions shifting, less urgency, less fixation, more calm observation. And don't scroll, listen to this, Because that shift means you are no longer operating from attachment, but from awareness, and your heart needs this right now because awareness dissolves illusions gently, and listen closely, because the universe is not asking you to deny that this connection mattered, it's asking you to understand why it mattered, and don't scroll, listen to this, because it mattered because it sharpened your discernment, clarified your boundaries, and activated your self-respect, and your heart needs this right now because those qualities are essential for the next chapter, and listen carefully, because the next chapter will not feel forbidden, it will feel open, mutual, and supported by timing instead of blocked by it, and don't scroll, listen to this, because divine love does not require secrecy, emotional endurance, or self-abandonment. And your heart needs this right now because you are no longer willing to abandon yourself for potential, and listen closely, because potential without action is not destiny, and don't scroll, listen to this, because destiny meets you when you choose alignment over attachment, and your heart needs this right now because alignment is what unlocks forward movement, and listen carefully, because you may already feel it, a subtle sense of relief, like something heavy is lifting even as you read this, and don't scroll, listen to this, because relief is the sign you are moving in the right direction, and your heart needs this right now because relief means you are no longer fighting your intuition, and listen closely, because intuition has been guiding you gently all along, and don't scroll, listen to this, because this guidance will not leave you empty, it will make room, and your heart needs this right now because room is being created for something that does not feel forbidden, restricted, or uncertain, but chosen, and listen carefully, because chosen love feels steady, calm, and grounded, not obsessive, urgent, or confusing, and don't scroll. Listen to this, because when that love arrives, you will not wonder whether it's allowed, you will know it's aligned, and your heart needs this right now because alignment feels like peace settling into place, and listen closely, because this part ends here not with longing, but with empowerment, the empowerment that comes from understanding that forbidden connections are not punishments, they are passages, and you have passed through this one with wisdom, strength, and grace, and don't scroll. Listen to this, because what's ahead will not test your worth, it will reflect it, and your heart needs this right now to trust that the universe is not taking love away from you, it is clearing the path for love that can stand openly beside you, without fear, without restriction, and without conditions, and when that moment arrives, you will understand completely why this chapter had to end exactly the way it did.